What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 8 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Drazhoath the Ashen Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, the campaign has gotten pretty interesting as like 4 factions have declared war on us. Malice is looking to declare war on us next, and I'm willing to bet several of the other factions which really dislike us on our borders are going to be following rather shortly. Soon we will be at war with everybody around us as our efforts to make inroads with our allies have mostly failed, and well, we're just going to have to burn our way out of this situation. Now, we ended off last episode with the Death Toll Ogre Kingdom's tribe starting to move at last towards Magpie Town and Haunted Grove. As I noted at the end of last episode, or in the comments, what I decided to do between the episodes was to rush the fortress here and here, completely destroying our surplus of labor, but allowing us to get to the Fane guardhouse at both locations, and probably should be more than sufficient in terms of defenses to deal with these guys, or at least I would imagine so, if I'm not underestimating the ogres. Otherwise... Alright, we forgot to move middle manager Stormbreaker. Okay, let's just do this real quick. It's almost all clan rats. I think we can risk auto-resolving. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. This army heals fairly decently. And then here we will go... outpost or factory. Let's see here. It's a 2 territory... You know what? Let's go outpost for now because we need money. Our money is completely screwed now. We were making tons and tons, but we had to react to all the enemies attacking us, which means more being built. And the next turn, and just the 2 incoming Kadai alone will be an extra 1,200 gold loss. These guys are new gold loss. We got more Infernal Guard coming in 2 turns, and we got more other stuff being built as well. Actually, speaking of, I wanted to get another Great Taurus in here. I wish it was cheaper, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta build whatever we can build, and whatever we can afford. Which, by the looks of it, that's pretty much it. Maybe get another goblin laborer in here, at least something, and try to defend against those ogres. And Skull Harvest here picked up a garrison. That's lovely. We'll keep the garrison, and we'll even build a Hobgob mustering camp just to increase the number of units there, because, well, highly likely that we will get attacked shortly by these rats and by Malice, and who knows when these orcs are going to come for us, who knows when the sires of Morcaine are going to come for us. Hopefully the House of Berserk can hold them off long enough. Fortunately, Drazh is coming this way, but unfortunately, with these guys at war with us, we are liable to get attacked here rather shortly, and we'll need to be fortifying the place as much as possible. Frankly, that probably means it's a good place to build an ore level, because it does provide a fairly decent garrison as well. But it looks like really any of these buildings would work too. And we do need more capacity. But anyway, we have to keep the armaments as they are for now, because we have to use them for capacities. Anyway, unassigned skill points, building upgrades available. I think that's all we gotta do this turn, which means ending said turn and presumably being attacked by the ogres. Alright, let's see if we can pull this off. Go. Also, while the turn is ending, since we know that we're going to get attacked anyway, they're not going to just sit there and raid us, but anyway, the housekeeping. So, we did reach the engagement threshold once again. I mean, we're still relatively early in the campaign, so that's likely to generally happen, and of course this will thus be a longer episode. Engagement threshold remains 300 likes and 60 comments, and the next episode will be of the longer variety as well. Now, I do have to wonder where the death toll ogres are in the turn order. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I also see a lot of green happy faces around all the sort of chaos factions, so at the very least the chaos factions are liking us. Assuming they don't get wiped out, because we haven't seen any of the other chaos factions get strong, really. We've seen 2 factions of Kislevites get really big. We've seen Grimgor get big, and also Slaneshi giggle, and also, yes, they are going to attack us. Alright, so I'm gonna hold that thought for now. Rough Beard Strangler. Okay, that's a good name. That's a good name for this particular situation. Well, let's see if we can't strangle him with his own beard and give him a nice little ironic death, shall we? Go. Alrighty, here we go. The wars against the ogres and, well, I guess against everybody around us have at last begun. Going to have to fight them off and not lose these towers that we've invested in. But fortunately, with the defenses upgraded, we do now have the advent of the blunderbusses and the Chaos Dwarf Warriors in greater numbers than we had before, plus a Death Shrieker rocket as well, in which otherwise we haven't built any, though not to worry, we are obviously planning to do so. I'm definitely going to do an army with lots of different type of artillery. If I'm recalling correctly, though, Zatan is an artillery lord, or at the very least his defeat trait is artillery focused, which I imagine means that he buffs artillery up to various degrees with his unique line, though I can't be sure because it's SFO, and I haven't experienced Chaos Dwarfs in SFO as yet, but I think we'll be seeing sooner rather than later. Anyway, the Death Shriekers will fire a ranging shot as the first of it there, and Demolisher rockets against the ogres, and it does look like it, let's see, it knocked 2-3 over, and killing 3 with a single shot. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. And 2 over here. I think we're gonna get a lot of good work out of this Demolisher rocket. Now, we could in fact target it at the enemy lords and heroes, which would work just as well, but I don't think that the lords and heroes are going to be nearly as big of a problem as the big ol' ogre bulls, so try to reduce their numbers first. Anyway, the Hobgob mercenaries are firing away at us. I got 21 missile strength, and frankly, look pretty darn good with all of that armor on them, and almost look like something between the Hobgobs that we have and then the Night Goblins under Skarsnik. I like the nose armor, fantastic. Anyway, and they're gonna fire away and well, waste all their arrows into their goblin laborers. I wouldn't quite say fellow goblin laborers, because I imagine gobos dislike each other just as much as they dislike everybody else. Anyway, the ogre bulls wade on in, but we have 2 full lines of laborers. Of course, they will, at least some of them will break pretty much at the first charge from the ogres as they go deep into the line of those poor laborers, but that's alright. It's fine by us, because that's just more opportunities for our blunderbusses to gun them down. And armies like this always feel a lot more appropriate for Chaos Dwarfs in the sense that when you have late-game armies running around that don't have any of the sort of trash units running around in front, just sort of elites of Chaos Dwarf Warriors and Infernal Guard and all that, it doesn't feel quite right. You should have massive droves of goblins, just as the undead should have massive droves of shambling dead in front of their blood knights and whatnot. Anyway, the enemy did manage to loop around us with a few units out here. We are going to use 1 unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons to try to hold these guys off, and we will turn our Death Shrieker to support here instead of the main line, because the main line has blunderbusses to support. Now, the enemy range units have started to get annoying, so we have summoned the Kadai Fireborn on top of those Hobgob mercenaries, and they should rip them apart decently well. And, well, even if they don't, even if the Kadai melt away, we won't care all that much due to them being a summoned unit. Looks like they will get mobbed by regular Nobblers as well. Who must be feeling quite inferior compared to the Hobgob mercenaries who have proper armor instead of pots and pans for helmets. Although it is pretty charming, the pots and pans. But anyway, we also have a great Taurus in this defensive little line, and not a particularly effective unit compared to the Bale Taurus, mind you. And, I gotta compare their stats later. SFO is generally pretty good about differentiating units in the sense that a unit is usually, but not always, not just a straight-up upgrade to another unit, like a unit of Shielded Saurus compared to a unit of Unshielded Saurus would be just a straight-up upgrade. In vanilla, but in SFO, they do a fair bit more damage and have higher attack and all that, so there is at least a reason to get them and or use them. Even though the shields still probably make the Tankirosaurus the better choice. But anyway, I digress. I'm just curious about the differences between the Bale Taurus and the regular Taurus, because the Bale Taurus has... It also has Blazing Body, but it also has that Breath ability, which the Great Taurus doesn't have. So what does the Great Taurus, I wonder, have that the Bale Taurus does not, if anything? Somebody remind me, please, because I'm going to forget immediately after this battle, probably. Alright, anyway, the Chaos Dwarfs Warriors are holding off those Ogre Bulls and Nobblers alike. The Chaos Dwarf Warriors hopefully trying to focus the Ogre Bulls a little bit more, while our own Gobos are holding back the tide of Nobblers. The Death Shriekers continue to shriek overhead and smash into the lines of enemy Ogres. And just out of curiosity, how are we doing here? 45 kills, pretty much all Ogres, and 20,000 damage. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I think they're doing good work. I'd love to compare them to Hell Cannons, but yeah, for our artillery army, we'll have all the different types of artillery in one army. So Hell Cannons and Death Shriekers and Magma Cannons and Dreadquakes all together at once. It'd be a heck of a battery. We'll double check if Zatan does indeed buff them with his unique line as opposed to his faction effect, because I think his faction effect buffs artillery, but I don't remember what his unique line buffs. Otherwise, we'll make a separate army. I remember in my Zatan campaign, I made a Hell Cannon battery sort of army with the Iceforge Legion leading a bunch of Hell Cannon units, and I think we're going to repeat that here, so that'll be pretty fun as well. Anyway, how are we doing here? An enemy hunter attempts to move forward but gets gunned down by those blunderbusses. Frankly, so do a couple hundred goblin laborers that were running around there, but, well, that works out fairly well for us. Our numbers of goblin laborers have rapidly dwindled. The Ogre Bulls have absolutely crushed them and broken through their lines, and of course some of them will rally. In fact, lots of them will rally, kind of like using Skaven slaves in Skaven armies. But they've done their job. They broke the charge of the Ogres, and they took their damage, they tired them out. They allowed the blunderbusses and the Death Shriekers to do damage, and then our Chaos Dwarf Warriors to clean them up. And I couldn't find him in the press here, but our Bull Centaur Toruk has been fighting in the center of the Ogre formation for pretty much the entire battle, and has lost about 30% of its HP, but pretty good. He's got that Bonebreaker ability on him, -5 melee defense, which is fairly nice. And another thing that makes me wonder whether we should keep using Bully, or in the sense that we had that other trait that gives us the ability to get Sundering Armor, or Sunder Armor on them, but then obviously that would be at a loss of Bonebreaker. But we already have Bonebreaker, and Bully would give them, well, gives them a lot more mass and HP, which is quite nice. Anyway, by the looks of it, with that, the enemy army is down to only 10% balance of power. The enemy lord is booking it on out of there. We're giving chase to whatever units we can. The Great Taurus didn't seem to achieve all that much. It was basically dealing with one unit of Hobgob mercenaries for the entire battle, and only managed to rack up 3,700 kills. That said, might be better to use them in the same sense that you would use Manticore, so use them in teams of at minimum 2 and ideally 3, which is what I do with Manticores anyway, and have them work together to obliterate units faster and guard each other's backs at the same time, by not allowing them to get surrounded easily. We'll give it a try. Alright, and I believe with that, the enemy army will break, and the battle is ours. I really love these sort of swamp battles with the ghost lights and all that along the swamp. We did fight Gorst here and the undead, and well, I'd love to fight anybody here because it's a lovely cinematic place to fight. Frankly, a lot of the areas we've been fighting in this campaign so far have been really nice. The Chaos Dwarf and stuff, and the polluted swampland and all that. Alrighty, there we go. Got ourselves a spotter spyglass, which will hopefully turn into an item that's actually reasonably useful to us. Otherwise, we got... Did the bruiser survive? I swear I saw him die, but anyway. We got decent damage on the enemy army. Of course, the garrison did most of the work. I was a little bit disappointed in the effectiveness of the Great Taurus here, which did very little against a single unit of Hobgob mercenaries. Kind of surprising there, but anyway, there was, unfortunately, a lot of the enemy ogres escaped, but we don't really have any chase capabilities in this army as yet, at least not until we have the Bull Centaur renders in there, so gotta just deal with it. We'll take the transport captives, of course, because we want to, well, get all the captives. And the labor. Oh no, the other army besieged us. Okay, interesting, interesting. We'll see about that. Assuming that nobody else wants to declare war on us this turn, because it's been an every turn declaration of war lately. And oh, I shouldn't have said anything. Why did I say anything? Clan Ricket wants peace. Oh, you guys just lost an army. No, no peace. You declared war on us. How dare you? Now you get to serve in the mines. Well, actually, no, they're Skaven, so they have to be exterminated. Chaos Dwarfs in the lore don't particularly like having these Skaven serve as labor because the Skaven just wreck everything and are just too, they're just too much to deal with. Okay, there it is. I thought it would happen. Yep. All right, that's another war. We are genuinely nearly surrounded by factions we are at war with now. All right, well, we're going to have to try to deal with them quickly, and we might even want to preemptively attack Malice, because I feel like he is going to turn on us sooner rather than later. He is allied with the guys that attacked us, and he will be angry because we're defending ourselves, just like this little chain of war declarations has already forced us to, well, take. But that's all right. Keeps things interesting, doesn't it? Man, these end turns are long. All right, hey, but we're down to 300 factions. How many did we start? Don't, please just ask for peace or something. Okay, it's military access, fine. Oh, they lost a territory to Corn. Interesting, also interesting. And they're down to 1 again. Only their tower remains. Them being here is good for us because they will potentially act as a barrier. Kind of like the Nurglights were supposed to do, but they're useless. Anyway, enemy killed in battle, spotter, spyglass, there it is, settlement besieged, and constructor, master mason, higher quotas, good, new convoy contracts, but I don't believe, oh, actually we did finish a convoy, right, we finished one last episode. Should have sent you elsewhere. In fact, next turn, you're going to be able to move again. Maybe we just send you out again, because you have enough troops to make it all the way. Yeah, also Slanesh Giggle, but yeah, you'll be able to actually travel far, so I think we'll do that. Sale value of cargo, local guides, cost reduction, I'm gonna say reduced chance of ambush again. I mean, we had stopped sort of moving through this in order to try to get buffs, but his army is mostly, it's hobgobs, isn't it? Well, no, I lied. While it does have some hobgobs, it also has 2 blunderbusses and 2 chaos dwarf warriors, but they use different trees, don't they? Unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, they do. And they unfortunately do use different trees. Alright, let's just max out this part of the chain then. Let's get 1 point in cargo capacity, we'll do 1 point in local guides, and we'll send them out again next turn, assuming I don't forget, which is a distinct possibility. Ooh, metallurgy is up and running, in order to try to go towards hushed reverence, which we certainly want. It does cost us 50, but it is what it is. You gotta spend influence to make influence, among other things. Hellforge, do we want to? Maybe not. Okay, we gotta figure out how we're doing the rest of this. You are moving towards Swamp Eater Camp. Yeah. I guess channel outside. You can't reach it anymore. We're going in camp just in case. You guys are going to have to deal with the ogres because the lizards are attacking them at the same time. Unfortunately, the lizards hate us because we're chaos, so we're inevitably going to be fighting with them, but perhaps we can meet their army in the middle of the Scalded Delta and then destroy them. That might be nice. Alright, you are you able to help out with this? No. Alright, so you chase this down and hopefully you'll be able to auto-resolve it. You actually have no easy way of doing damage, but you do have the Toruk and the 2 Bale Tauruses, so it should be fine. Oh, there's also this. But let's see if this is auto-resolvable first. Oh, I know what we can do. Go out here, like so. We'll pop Alkrish in this army. Just to leech XP. Because he is going to be transferred to the other army, or another army, and then attack. And then Pyrrhic Victory, it'll kill off a bunch of our hobgob. I really don't want to re-recruit them. Alright, let's manually fight this just super quick. I'll just try to speed through this. We just have to pile up our hobgobs and then deal the damage with our single entities. As ogre bulls are still relatively fragile. And maybe tie up a few of the hobgob mercenaries with other stuff. Also, how are Ogre Hobgob mercenaries more heavily armored than our own Hobgobs? You'd think the Chaos Dwarfs scraps would probably be better armor than what the Ogres can make. And frankly, the Ogres are probably getting a lot of their stuff from us anyway. Yeah, Hobgob Mercs, 50 armor. Our own Hobgobs only have 30. That's kind of surprising. Is it not surprising? Am I crazy? Anyway, let's do this. In fact, maybe that's too much like so. I'm just gonna blob up. The enemy can't capitalize on it anyway. And just pop all of our single entities in here, like so. Build Taurus up in the sky, and then you guys can be group 1. We'll set you all to melee, and you guys can be group 2. Alright, start battle. Move this way. You're right here. You guys move this way. Max up speed. We also have summonings and abilities available, but we'll have to wait for a few seconds. You can probably launch a few fireballs their way while you're at it. Not the best use of our mana, but better than nothing. And frankly, you want to maybe deal some damage to those Hobgob Mercs, who are... back away slightly. Alright, let's see if we can... Okay, move through those ranks. They should frankly be parting their ranks for you. And... fireball? Oh, wow. Oh, it actually smashed into the ground. That was amazing. Okay, fine. Let's just move. You guys in a blob, group 3. I was hoping to use the hill, but that's not going to happen. Move together. Move together. And then we'll wait until the enemy starts attacking you. Don't care how many of the Hobgobs die, or the Goblin Laborers die. There we go, they're moving now. Alright, you guys all charge this, and you guys charge this as well. And then we'll summon our Blood and Fireborn right here. And then as soon as they're summoned, we'll pop in. Okay, and as soon as the Great Taurus reach their location, like so. Alright, we pop Contempt. You guys are good now. You, frankly, I probably should have grouped you up in the same group. Group, there you go. And just attack the single entities. Alright, we want to drop any spells on anybody? Let's do one of these right here. Oh, they're going to back off as soon as we want to drop it. Alright, fine, do this. Too late to cancel it. Nah, it's all good. Alright, some of the ogres are going to back away. Maybe we target the enemy lord specifically with our Torok, who can be the group 2. And everybody else can go after the blob of units. You guys keep... Actually, you're fine. Alright, I'll speed it up in a second. Or, wait, I just want to use the other spell. Okay, you guys go after... Okay, as soon as these ogres move in, like so, we'll drop a spell and then we'll see what happens. Alright, wonder if that did a little bit of damage, and well, by the looks of it, a few of those ogres went down. Maybe that was worth the influence. Anyway, group 1, keep attacking the ogres. Torok is doing pretty good. He's nearly slaughtered that Slaughtermaster. I do see some of those Hobgob Laborers, or just Goblin Laborers, running away. But that's just fine. They're not necessary here. Oh, okay, you should not be here at all, buddy. You should be attacking these guys with the other single entities. Alright, and let's move the blob. Oh, blob? Move. Hey, why can't I select you? There you go. Move right here. Alright, the Torok has nearly defeated the Slaughtermaster. The single entities have nearly got these guys, and I think we're mostly good, so let's just speed it up as the battle should end any second now. Okay, Torok is... there we go. Alright, no way we're going to be able to chase anybody down here, as I just don't see it happening. We chase this one unit down because it's in the blob. And even then, probably not, eh? Well, the Torok can chase, but do we really want to wait? I don't want to wait, too lazy. Alright, and we lost 281 laborers. That's perfectly acceptable. Certainly better than re-recruiting a bunch of them. It'll be a little bit until we have centaur renders and other things in here, so we'll need to make do with what we've got. Although I suppose we could take the time to build some centaur renders right now. Frankly, the issue is that the enemy army will probably rebuild some of their forces, but... might not be horrible. Alrighty, come on now. I wonder if this takes the same amount of time to load after the battle on Immortal Empires and Old World. Anyway, 71 labor versus nearly 1,000 money. We'll take the money this time around. And I'm hoping that you can return to Haunted Grove, which you cannot. And unfortunately, you can't really do anything. What if you move into March stance? I wanted to avoid the attrition here. Wait, non-vampiric armies will suffer losses due to attrition when in undead territories or with high vampiric corruption. Oh, as undead territory, is this counting it? I guess it's counting it as an undead territory. Because the corruption is at 32. Let's say it's not very high. Alright, fine. You have no choice. Return to Haunted Grove then. Alright. It's not like you can take this place anyway, because the garrison is absolutely solid. Fort Death Toll and Treehammer's Camp, however, are not quite the same. So we'll move through our own territory like this, and Kuntij will go for Death Toll, while this guy takes his time to build a couple of renders. In fact, we could build the renders right now. Alright, meaning, let us get a couple of capacities. Oh, we maybe wanna... you know what, I'll think about it. Maybe we want to switch for the recruitment cost reduction, because they are expensive and we have no treasury, and we gotta make use of as much of it as we can. This guy's sieging, so we'll attack him in a second. You can also enter this army, and then you are going to another army. Although Metal Lore would actually be pretty solid with the Bull Centaurs as well, because their armor is actually relatively low. I think it's 60 or 50 on the regular renders. Yeah, 60, and that's when we have the plus 10 from Needful, so Metal would actually be quite nice for them. I guess we could get another Metal guy and put him in the Hobgob army as well. We can raise them anywhere now, right? Yeah, we just need capacity. Oh, actually, we can't raise them anywhere, but... Okay, we'll figure this out in a second. Let me just, let's see what else we got going on, and then we'll deal with it. Draj, you and this guy need to meet up, and I guess since these guys have also declared war on us, because everybody wants to war with us today, and I guess we're going down this way. So we'll meet up here, instead of here, where we were planning to last episode. And I guess that also means that rather than returning here for the 2 destroyers, like we were also originally planning to do, we'll have to ferry them over. We do have another considered guy, so what we'll do is this. You will leave the settlement, we will get the new considered guy in. I have so many considered overseers. Alright, and then you can be adjutant, and route marcher, I guess, because you guys are our recruiters. Mr. Asgal, you can be TA for talent agent. Asgal. Like so. And headhunter Jarbaz, you will be march oh wait, actually, transfer to this guy everything but the destroyers, because these guys are supposed to be in that same, in an army. And frankly, wait. We would probably want to build a couple Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons for that army, but you know what, maybe we'll wait, because money situation is not good. Alright, what do we have up next? IR Damon Zork, you are sticking around here in case these guys attack, which is also a distinct possibility. We have recruitment up and running still here, but I guess we'll want to switch back to Masterful Architects. And also, wait, assuming that we have enough money and... we want to build, what, maybe 4 Fireglaves? This is our all-Infernal Guard army, plus some supporting units. So no regular Chaos Dwarfs. And we'll do 4, 4, and 4. So yeah, we'll need 4 more Infernal Guard with Fireglaves. The problem with that is, how much do they cost? And the Hellforged. Quite expensive. We probably can't get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that worked out, but I wasn't expecting it to work out, so... Anyway, let us then build 1, 2, 3, 4, and that allows us to still switch. And this army will not be quite complete, but give them some artillery. We still don't have Hell Cannons, and we barely got any use out of the first of our Hell Shriekers, Death Shriekers, so we'll get that. Now you're mostly a Hobgob force, but the defenses of Magpie Town are pretty solid, so I guess we're gonna go on and attack it too. Close victory, low casualties. Do we still need to fight this? I mean, it's a relatively minor battle. Just because it's almost all Hobgobs, or Nobblers and Hobgob mercenaries. And the bow-wielding Hobgoblin mercenaries are also more heavily armored than our own. Go figure. Interesting. Yeah, is this worthy of our time? The thing is, we don't have an army, so that the auto-resolve doesn't really hurt us, and let's face it, the goblins, the nobblers, they have absolutely no chance against Chaos Dwarf Warriors any more than the Skaven slaves or clan rats would. Yeah, it's fine. Barely took any damage. And we will, however, take the... I'm gonna say money, as odd as it is to turn away from the labor, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Enemy killed in battle. Now you were here primarily to act as a defensive lord, and we do have to get the Infernal IRONSWORN either into this army or into another army. I haven't decided yet. What I do know is that they're costing us 600 gold per turn right now, and it's insanely expensive, but I guess for now... we could briefly transfer them to Kuntish just so that this guy doesn't cost us any money. I like his armor, though. Very nice. Lots of gold and stuff. Looks a little bit better than these guys. Well, actually, no. I like the sort of skulls and stuff worked into the power shoulders and all that. Plus the hat. Anyway, let's see. We've ignored that. We gotta have a big fight at the Alamian ruins anyway, because I actually have a proper garrison with some good stuff. Iron guts, ogre pistols, etc. And who knows what else is in there. Lead belchers in there too, I see. Probably a couple of them. But anyway, we have you, who does not need to move. Astra Tirth Hackhart does not need to move. What we do want to do is check capacities. We have, ooh, only the one turn of this remaining, eh? Demonsmith Sorcerers. What do we have in terms of metal? We have Fanatical and Extravagant. We have a compulsive Demonsmith Sorcerer of Hushit. Manipulative and Extravagant. Man, I don't think I particularly like any of these, unfortunately. I was wondering if we should rush one. But I don't think we see any of the specific type that we want at the current time, so alas, we're going to have to let the Dark Favor lapse. Next up, we have still a decent amount of raw material. We could probably... wait. Is there anywhere where we're up to tier 4? Well, if we were to rush one of these, we could do a tier 5, or we could just do more tier 4s. Let's start from the top. Okay, so you have a tower. You are working in tier 4. We did get a little bit of our labor back, so we could probably rush you. And then start on tier 5 and get that tower up and running ASAP. How much of a surplus do we have? Oh, wait. Set an example, please. We do have something of a surplus. It's not as crazy as it was, nowhere near, but this is also not a crazy cost. So let's do this. We'll upgrade you to tier 5, which costs pretty much all of our raw materials, but will allow us to build what we want. Otherwise... we don't really need the ironworks here. We could go for the ore level, but I'm thinking we ignore it for now. Just to save on the cash, because we need it. And then just wait and then next turn build the Temple of Hushit. Yeah. That makes sense to me. 500 to rush this, and but we wouldn't be able to afford the Temple of Hushit right now anyway, so just ignore it, I suppose. Otherwise, we are good to go. Yes, ooh, -7 here at the Desolation of Azgorh. Oh, we'll need to transfer 200 here. Fine. Desolation of Azgorh. We will give... wait, does this place have events? Yes. Let's take... from here, no, not enough of a surplus. Let's take from here to Desolation of Azgorh. Like so, and then set an example. Alright, there we go. You guys are also not collecting, at least not right now. And we're not going to bother building anything just in case the place is lost, though. Well, you know what, I lied. Let's build the factory guardhouse. Alright, the rest of that looks good. Though the other stuff we should probably build while Drazhoath is still here, because he reduces the cost and the time it takes to build and all that. Also, these guys have declared war on us. Arrowhawk Roost and Pigbarter are both now in danger. And as much as I hate to waste our money on these Fane guardhouses, it's kind of necessary. So we'll do that, and we'll do the factory walls here as well. Not like we're looking to that particular territory to generate us cash. Anyway, the rest of that looks good to me, so we're going to end the turn and proceed. See if we can continue fighting our way out of this and see who declares war on us this time. Well, would you look at that? We didn't actually have anybody declare war on us this turn. I shouldn't have said it. Anything because I totally jinxed it. Ooh, we're minus 98 now. We're gonna need to fix that. Alright, and convoy. Stealth is possibly not the strong suit of our would-be ambushers who visibly await our convoy from some rather questionable hiding places. We could avoid them easily, of course, but it is almost seems a disservice not to show them what a true ambush looks like. Show them their place, we'll just auto-resolve. This is a garbage little army. Close victory. I'm gonna hope that it doesn't heavily damage our units. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? I'm definitely gonna regret this. It's gonna heavily damage our dragon, right? Yeah, okay, well, I should have expected it, and I did expect it, but we'll heal up, and I'm gonna hope that that army doesn't get attacked again, because it ain't so great if it does. What do we have here? Winds of Magic Reserve minimum +5, miscast chance -50 versus a little bit of influence. I'm gonna have to go with influence most likely, but let's see what this says. One of our adepts has come to us claiming he has found a way to stop Chaos Dwarf sorcerers turning to stone as a result of their magical experiments in service of Hushit. Although it is clear he is probably lying, should we hear him out or just disembowel him before his peers right now? I mean, it is a significant miscast-based chance reduction. If this was +5 per turn, I would take it, because that would be very solid for 10 turns, but here, I think we just execute him. This isn't like a quest chain, right? I don't think so. I hope not. Perhaps he will have found something of use. What harm is there in listening? Yeah, I'm gonna execute him. I don't think it's a quest chain, or at least I feel like it isn't. If I'm wrong, please tell me so that I can cry. Settlement receives Plague, Tower of Gorgoth. Yeah, that plague is still going. And still going, but we now have Khashit Reverence nearly available, and then on to Conclave Dominance right after. Good. Good. Alrighty, next up, how are we doing back here? First of all, Stormbreaker. Go into Swamp Eater Camp. I assume this place has a port. Ooh, what do we have here? We got weapons teams, we got storm vermin, sensor bearers, plague claws, yes. A fight worthy of Gordas. And it's their capital settlement. Alas for them, it does not have walls, but that's a solid garrison, even without a garrisoning army. Beautiful. Well, we're definitely fighting that one. Next, we have to do several things. First of all, you are going to, I guess, march stands here. I assume you can't reach this place. We will pop the Immortals into your army temporarily. Lose, I guess, the Orc Laborers. Pop them in here, and then delete your stuff for now. We can't afford you, bud. Frankly, we can't afford the Immortals either, but, we'll just let them serve for a while. And we'll hopefully be able to counterbalance it. Okay, you out. But we'll bring it back at some point. I'm sure we should be able to take 4 death toll without any problem. Vrogny, I was going to have you... Oh, that's going to bother me. These guys are... Okay, well, whatever. I was going to have you recruit those Centaur Renders, but frankly, I don't think we can afford them, especially with 4 more Fireglaves coming in. So no dice on that. Instead, what we'll do is this. You... We'll go right here. And we're gonna transfer those units. These guys are moving in as well, damn them. Alright. Are you gonna be able to defend yourself there, Pig Barter? Well, probably, at least by the looks of it you are. What about you, Arrowhawk Roost? Well, it looks like they're going for Pig Barter. It's a solid amount of units for the defense, although they got trolls and squigs. It looks like a decent army. We're starting to face off against enemies that are actually have fairly decent forces, so there is that. But anyway, you will transfer to Drazhoath, which you have. Alright, this will mean Drazhoath won't have a full stack because there's stuff missing, but we're going to lose all of this. He'll only be missing 2 units, which are the destroyers. Yeah, alright, do this. I was going to give him another Demonsmith, and frankly, we do have to because Kadai need reforging, but I don't see any way out of that, so do that. Drazhoath, you're at 18 units, and there we go. Now you have the Infernal IRONSWORN. Our money is a little bit better because you get them a little bit cheaper, though sadly not by much. Gonna try to get you that Inspiring Inferno to reduce their costs further as well. And okay, this is gonna bother me as well. You leave and then enter the army again. There you go. Alrighty, and then you have to return the other way, because these guys are going to form the basis of another army, together with some more warriors, and then these Iron Demons, frankly, will build another one, once we can afford it. You will head down here, you gotta transfer these destroyers to Drazhoath, and we gotta keep an eye on these locations, as they need to be defended. Presumably. In fact, Bloody Tooth's Folly will build the relatively cheap Hobgob mustering camp there because it does provide decent numbers of defenders. Alright, keep it nice and fortified. Or if not nice and fortified, at least somewhat fortified. Anyway, time for a middle manager's Stormbreaker to get into another fight. Finally, we got another point back in Fervent Fodder. Just gotta get back to that melee defense because we do need it. Gordy! Get him. And lastly, our Demon Smith, what are you gonna get? I mean, I guess we could do the Flame Storm. I still don't see us using it here because we don't have the... I mean, we do have plenty of mana, but we'll see. We'll see. Pyrrhic Victory, medium casualties looks like a very solid Skaven stack for us to deal with, especially since the Plague Claws will probably make it not easy or possibly not even feasible to harass them with our light cav. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I am very excited for our Hobgob army to look at those rats. For our Hobgob army to fight a not so happy anymore. To fight a proper Skaven stack. Obviously, our Hobgob army is made up of primarily about 2/3 tier 1 units, and then 1/3 of tier 2 units in the form of the Wolf Raiders, whereas the enemy army is primarily tier 2 and 3 instead. So there is a disparity in troop quality. But Gordas does buff up our Hobgobs something fierce, and I'm hoping that the buffs will tell. Anyway, we start the battle off by having our melee units, the Dire Gobs, and the Hogwargs to charge through the enemy clan rats and directly into the Poison Wind Globadiers and Plague Claw catapults on the flanks. We won't be able to do this for long as the enemy immediately charges us with Plague Ogres and Plague Monks, either of which would be able to obliterate the relatively fragile units of Wolf Raider Cav, but that's why we have rapidly moved in the Shin Takers and the Boblin Knifers here, our units of Sneaky Gits, to try to tie up the enemies as they can Vanguard deploy, and our non-Vanguard deployed units are moving in rapidly as well. Over on the right flank, all of our units of the Wolf Raiders with bows are focusing down the critical enemy target of those Deathglow Bombardiers. A single volley from these frickin' things would probably obliterate any one of our units of infantry or missile infantry goblins, so we really can't be letting those things remain alive. Deathglobes are just such a frickin' nasty unit, and frankly, I'd love to get some of our own, so we're definitely going to keep an eye on potential Skaven allies. I think what we'll need to do is we'll need to get a Skaven ally that's far enough away from us so that this domino effect, as somebody dubbed it in the comments of last episode, with the war declarations happening one after the other, doesn't happen again and force said Skaven ally or potential Skaven ally to leave us. So we'll try to look at Clan Molder or Clan Scryer. I don't know where Clan Pestilence is on the map, but we know Molder is in Helpit and Scryer is in Skaven Blight, so at least we know that they're fairly far away. And hopefully some of our convoys can reach them. And wait, I think we already know Molder. Gotta double check. And ooh, nice shot from that. Was that a Flame and Shadow? Was that the other one? I guess it doesn't matter because it did a big damage to the piles of enemy units. Our armies are well and truly engaged, and I do think it is going in our favor. Mostly because the enemy critical targets, the Death Globes and the Poison Winds and the Plague Claws, are all just about done for, which means our melee infantry are happy to wade in and fight the enemy. Of course, it's not going to go so well for them fighting Storm Vermin, as we just don't have the armor piercing to deal with them, and here Storm Vermin are in a fight with the Barbers, who have lost half their HP and are now backing off because they can't trade with them blow for blow. At least not yet. We'll see. We've got further buffs coming after all, and veterancy and all that, and tech buffs, so we'll see what our Hobgob stack looks like by the end of the campaign. And besides, we got more Hobgobs to support as well, so now firing into the flanks of that unit of Storm Vermin are some of our units of archers who are racking up the kills as the units of Hobgob Cutthroats make their way back into the fray. The Summoned Kadai have really helped out and have trapped an enemy, I want to say chieftain? Nope, warlord here with Gordas, and Gordas will tear him apart relatively quickly before moving on to, I want to say, a Plague Priest out here somewhere. There we go. Still in the fight, a Bonkin Jerks with that Plague Sensor. But Gordas is moving in and should be able to knock him out relatively quickly. Not that it's going to be needed as the balance of power shifts to 100%, and the rat horde will break even as more rats go flying from those charges. Lovely. We have the advantage, a very, very big advantage with this army, and that's hyper-mobility, essentially, with about half of our army, or a third of our army in the form of our runners, and frankly, because of the vanguard deployment and fast movement speed of all the gobos, the mobility is there all over the place. So, whenever an enemy army is slower than us, we can obviously take that pretty big advantage. Alright, there we are, a really fun fight. Unsurprisingly, the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers managed to rack themselves up a fairly large amount of kills. Nothing in our army can fight those guys directly, but we can harass them, damage them otherwise, and then come in for the kill once we're ready. Storm Vermin also did plenty well, 71 kills, and they forced the Barbers back after they fought with them, but it gave the Barbers the most damage dealt of the other, and damage goal as gold value as well as compared to the other units of Cutthroats. As for these guys, we got 25k damage, and vastly outdoing everybody else are the infamous now Hogboglins. Damn you all. Why did you do this to me? I'll get the hang of it. I will spitefully get the hang of it. Anyway, otherwise, how do we do? At 18k, the Direbog Hunters hunted down many a rat, and probably now have rat pelts to add to their armor. As for the range units, they didn't really all do that much, but the Hand of the Overseer, they took home the prize. Now, we'll occupy the Blizzard Tower for obvious reasons. And we do have a port here. Good. Good, so we can use this province probably as a money generator, so we'll do all factories. We do have a port by the looks of it in Scalded Swamp. And aha, there's that army. If they move towards Boglar country, that would be lovely. I also see a shipwreck here, which we could potentially grab. And then if Malice should attack us, we should be able to attack him from multiple sides as well, which is A, Slaneshi Giggle. He does have a Slaneshi demon possessing him, so, you know, he should be happy, or somebody should be happy. We built a tier 4 tower somewhere, did we not? Or a tier 5 tower? Ah, yes, here. Now we could rush it, which I guess we will do, in order to immediately build the Temple of Hashut, which takes all of our raw materials, but it's more Conclave influence. Ever more and always Conclave influence. And frankly, we should probably rush it as well. Alright, and then of course redistribute all the labor, because that was costly. To where do we, or from where do we take it? To where do we, okay, we need to put, oh wow, that actually cost a ton. Alright, I shouldn't do that too often right now, at least not until we rack up another surplus. But again, massive amounts of influence will pay dividends rather quickly, I'd wager. I wish it didn't cost all this money for us to transfer the labor, but, well, that's another aspect of this. But, hey, that saved us like 16 turns, or I don't know, some number of turns from not doing that immediately. Anyway, we'll figure out if we have to build anything there, and, you can still move a little bit. Keep moving, bud. And you can move as well. Go back this way. Oh, lovely. And oh no. Who are you? Clan Krizor. Are we at war with Krizor? No, those are the ones we pieced out with. So in theory, they shouldn't declare war on us for at least another 8 turns, although it is making me nervous how they're moving over here. And we should really build more defenses here, but we don't have the... Okay, well, we'll try to prioritize building something here afterwards. Oh, well. All right, what's up next? Vrogny the Grey, we are not using money to recruit Stefania right now, but I'd love to. I really would. What we could do is get you out of this territory. Oh, you're not suffering attrition anymore. Huh, I guess 30 was enough for us to suffer attrition. Go figure. Okay, fine. Move out here. We can still move you to reinforce and help out with these things. And let's see if I remember to... Oh, you know what we could do? We could use you to raid this territory. Yes, good, Ruinous, good. That'll somewhat work. And of course we'll delete all the defenses and Fane Guards here when needed, but if we get into a war with Malice, this all needs to be nice and fortified. Also, I forgot whether I showed you guys this. There's this little oil rig location. It's gonna look like burnt out oil rigs, but yeah, I got some cool stuff here out in the water. There's so much to see all over this map. Definitely gotta do another campaign on it at some point. Lots of stuff is hidden in the fog, and there's probably lots of cool stuff all over the place. Anyway, who else needs to move, if anybody? Not you. Not you. Not you. Oh, we do want to check the overseers, though. Another oh, you gotta be kidding me. We gotta keep getting these, though. Every time one pops up, we gotta get one, because diplomatic relations +5 with all factions and hero recruit rank +1. Other stuff isn't super useful, but, well, we gotta have these guys everywhere. So, I guess we'll put one in Mount Greyhag. We'll try to get one in every single territory. Another Groby Nutter, that's our second Groby Nutter. I am concerned about this Groby Nutting epidemic. YouTube, please don't... it's just... but anyway, it's an interesting name. Okay, I'll do HR because I forgot what the next one was going to be, and it's out of my line of sight right now. But anyway, what do we have here? Was that the last guy? That was the last guy. Now, we do have a little bit in the way of armaments, should we desire to use them. These guys are in trouble, but that's fine by us. Frankly, if the rats wipe them out, then we could just take their stuff without having to worry. I would also like to see what we have available in quick deals. Ooh, everybody wants to trade. Puppets of Misrule. We could trade with Village. I could see some Doom Knights being nice in some of our armies. And, oh. Wait, he's a Warriors of Chaos, so he's not actually useful. Damn. I keep forgetting. You need actual Tzeentch faction to be useful, not the useless Warriors of Chaos factions, because you can't get their outpost units. I wish that it wasn't that way, but whatever. Greyling are... Well, I guess we could trade with Greyling and Varg and whatnot. It's not like the Ancestral Throng is gonna like us.
Always ready for
So more money per turn. Anybody else want to trade? No, that was it. That's all the trade goods we have. Now, these guys want to have some other types of agreements, but we're going to hold off on those for now, because we don't know who we're actually going to ally with. Clan Rickett wants peace now. Maybe you shouldn't have declared war on us, you complete jerks. Absolutely ganging up on us. Gotta appreciate the opportunism, though, so credit where it's due. I could get another Demonsmith Sorcerer capacity, but I think we'll need to use some armaments for... Oh, Convoy. Yes, I did just remembered. For anybody yelling at the screen, I remembered. Admaster. And we are going to send you... I think there was another far place here that we didn't go to. So, Convoy's going here, meaning we haven't been to Nagranath or Oseberg. 12 turns. They're both 12 turns, and they both cost armaments. All right, fine. We'll go all the way to Nagranath. It's a lot of cash, too. Actually, I'm now thinking that maybe I should have given you some... should have given you some more space in your cargo hold, but whatever, dispatch. You should be able to handle anything you run across because you got solid units, and generally a solid stack. Let's see if he keeps on surviving. Otherwise, I believe we're good to go for another end turn. Yes, yes, I think so. Can you reach this in one go? No. Oh, wow. Not even 2 goes. Huh. And the fact that this little army is out here probably means there's a full stack in Bogler country. Interesting. Do we need to build anything here? We could go for the patrol routes. You know what? I don't want to waste any of the raw materials because we don't even know if we're going to hold on to this place. We could build an emergency... You know what? Build the emergency... Well, it's not really an emergency, but just in case, build the Fane Guard here and we'll delete it to get our money back later. Also, just in case. Just in case, Fane Guard. Unassigned skill points, building upgrades, outposts, and another end turn by the looks of it. Go. Alright, looking good. Clan Molder did something. Veteran Overseer control and own local province. It's not great. However, we can put it on one of these guys and then make some good use of them. So yeah, Veteran Overseer, sure. As we do try to hold most of our labor in this province. Oh, these guys are just going to be besieging them. Oh, interesting. Anyway, we'll ignore that for now. What we will not ignore is Fort Death Toll, which should... I was about to say be auto-resolvable, but I forgot that this army is very basic and incomplete so far, because we can't afford it, so we'll just deal with it. I did say we'd let... Oh, wow. I did say we'd let our economy stagnate a little bit, which means a limitation on the units recruited and stuff. Minus you, who's about to cost us... Oh, wow, I forgot how expensive these guys are outside of the other armies. We really need to keep an eye on Castellans. Gotta get those Infernal Guard reducing ones. Wait. Not the type I wanted. Anyway, yeah, so you're gonna attack this. We're gonna have to manually fight this a little bit. You are going to jump here, I guess. I'm just going to assume that they don't have another army nearby, or if they do, it's too small to actually threaten this army. At least I assume so. Otherwise, you're okay. You are going to jump all the way to Boglar country. And I see these guys ain't moving after they opportunistically took Scalded Swamp, or after we essentially allowed them to do so. We'll see. Drazhoath. You will continue marching this way. I see these guys. It looks like they decided that Pig Barter is now too hard of a target for this army. Well, too bad for them. You are going to move this way, and then you will... See some heroes moving around there. You will underway stance over to Gulaktha and attack them. I'm just going to hope that an army isn't coming out of the Mawworm's lair. You are returning to this place, and then you are... Well, we should be safe from them declaring war on us, in theory. In theory. And we shall see if that pans out for us. And just gotta keep double-checking that the Darklands bandits are not moving in to attack Tower of Gorgoth. Well, that'll probably be able to defend itself against any smaller stack, so we shouldn't be overly concerned, but somewhat concerned. Anyway, Kuntij, time for you to attack, yes? Nobody else needs to move? Groby Nutter. Whoever came up with that name. Anyway, yeah, it's a Pyrrhic victory, so we'll fight this one. It's an opportunity to see the Skullcrackers in action. We still do have to watch out for those Man-Eaters and Lead-Belchers. That remains the case, and we haven't seen the Immortals do their thing, so let's see them do their thing. Go. Alright, here we go. Just a sort of smaller battle for us, but, well, I think one. And that'll work quite nicely. Plus, I wanted to try out the Immortals units of Infernal Ironsworn. You know what I'd really love? I'd love for the Immortals to face off against the Immortals under Grimgor and see who comes out on top, with both buffed by the campaigns. But anyway, and we'll see. I haven't decided which army these guys are going to go into, because once again, I don't think I'm going to be putting them into Drazhoath's army, because his army is very flashy with range units and with spell work, and thus these guys wouldn't be able to shine nearly as much as they could in another force. So there was that. Maybe we'll give them to Zatan, because well, I really like Zatan. But anyway. Magma cannons firing at the ogres. Probably not going to be particularly effective. They are meant for clearing out droves of infantry, which the big ol' ogre bulls are not going to suffer so much from. And by the looks of it, the first volley didn't kill a single one, and the second one also didn't kill a single one, and drops about 5 to 10% of their HP with each blow. Not all that crazy either. Yeah, about 10%. Alright, well, they can keep firing away. The goal here is to annoy the enemy. And of course, our Hobgob Wolf Raiders attempt to do the same, but this is one army we cannot really do that against. The reason being that the enemy has man-eaters with ogre pistols. 11 kills to their name, as every single shot from those ogre pistols will knock down a Wolf Raider. There we go. Look at all those Wolf Raiders drop, meaning we have to back off as we can't come anywhere close to out-damaging ogre pistols. And ogre pistols are really, really nasty units, especially in SFO. I remember in my Aranessa campaign just how impressed I was with them obliterating single entities like nobody's business. Big old monster like a, I don't know, like a Helpit Abomination charges at you, a couple volleys from the man-eaters with ogre pistols into it, and it's gone. And, well, we gotta be careful about not getting a taste of our own medicine on somebody like our Overseer, so there is that. Anyway, it looks like our magma cannons and raiders have done their job, not to do damage, but to annoy the enemy, and it looks like they're marching towards us. Gonna get the first of our daggers flying from our Hobgob sneaky gets, though it's the ogres that we want them to target, and not the piles of nobblers. And there we go. Unlike the Wolf Raiders, the daggers do quite a bit of damage, taking about 40% of the HP from, I don't know, about 2/3 of their volley to the man-eaters with ogre pistols, and then dishing out plenty more against the Nobbler trappers and ogre bulls with iron fists as well. And it's that effect that makes me not really like using the cutthroats, because the daggers are just so useful. And in other armies not buffed by Gordas, you can still use these guys to Vanguard deploy, which is really nice. Anyway, the lines have clashed, and while there are a few units of laborers to take the kits, it'll be the Immortals holding off of the center of the enemy ogre bulls. But I think they should be more than up to the task, because after all, this is a tier 5 unit and makes everything else in this army just very weak by comparison, and that includes probably the Skullcrackers. Speaking of the Skullcrackers, they'll wait on in. They can't, unfortunately, abuse their mass in their charge, but they can still cut down a fair few ogres on contact, though they do take damage as they do. Nice job from the range units, focusing down that man-eaters with ogre pistols units, which was a critical target. I think both units are either heavily damaged or out now, and that had to be done before we made good use of our Skullcrackers, as a couple of volleys from those ogre pistols into a Skullcracker, and the Skullcracker would be destroyed. And there we go, Skullcracker charges into the back line of those ogre units that are still engaged, and they did not like that one bit. In fact, the entire army did not like it one bit, as the bounce power shifts fully into our favor, and the battle is ours. The enemy did also have that Lead Belcher unit, but as soon as they drew close, we simply summoned the Kadai on top of them and tore them apart, as they are very lackluster in melee and can't defend themselves. Lovely. Very nice work. Also nice to see the Overseer and Lamasu do a little bit of work here, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more of that as we go. Alright, actually a surprisingly nice fight. It's always interesting to come up against armies that your army isn't particularly well designed to be fighting in that particular time, and this army with its reliance on the Skullcrackers is going to be fairly vulnerable against the ogres there. And it's not like the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders can outfire or outshoot the Man-Eater Ogre pistols, so they can't harass the enemy army either, which makes it fairly interesting. Nice. I forgot what type of territory we were going to occupy this place as. Let's start with factory. Maybe. Start with factory, we'll see. If we need to change it, we need to change it. And hello, Talisman of Obsidian. Ooh, interesting. It gives the Lamasu aura. Good. That's very good. And we can give this to one of the, like, Centaur Torux or something like that, or possibly even give it to, you know what, I know who we'll give it to. We'll give it to the shotgun guy in Drazhoath's army. That would be this guy, because the other guy's going to be a sniper guy. One to command the Infernal IRONSWORN, and one to command the, Magic Power Reserve +2 per turn. Oh, I guess that only works if it's on the Lord, but I wouldn't generally put this on a Lord, most likely. I guess we could, I guess another option, nah, I still wouldn't put it on a lord, because it makes them a lot more vulnerable. They need to be, they're big fat targets on their Lamasu and on their other stuff, so, yeah. Anyway, yeah, sniper will command the fire glaives, and shotgun will command the infernal ironsworn. Yes. Alright. That's looking good. I don't think we had anything else to do this particular turn other than potentially build another tower. Or possibly 2 towers. Let's see what we got here. And ooh, drill is near completion. And oh, he got us set an example again. There goes... Yeah, there completely goes our surplus. No more rushing things anywhere at all, ever. We're +6 here, so we don't actually need to... Nice, very nice. Our control is finally working for us. And soon, hopefully, we won't need to be doing that. And yes, I'm aware that we could sell off labor, but 11500 gold for a mere... 200 labor, or merely 1500 gold for 200 labor doesn't feel worth it to me, personally. Oh wow, it's called a Delta. That's the new place, right? That's why it's so angry? Yeah, we probably should transfer. The thing is, we don't want it to go too negative. Because it's control -1 faction wide. We really don't want that anywhere. Meaning we will have to transfer 200 from wherever it is we have a surplus, so I guess here. And to the Skilda Delta. Like so. And then we will pop the, set an example. Alright, now we gotta find some labor, and the ogres are not providing, which is kind of odd, because you'd think that the ogres would have plenty of labor available to you, but apparently not the case. Yeah, we'll hit Treehammer's camp next. How many territories do these guys have? Is it just these 3? It is just these 3. Oh, they really want to piece out now, huh? Yeah, we got an armaments building here, but we don't need this. We'll keep the factory. Wait, what do these do? Yes, it's armaments output. Okay, so the factories were the appropriate choice, so we'll be using this territory to build armaments and to get our money flowing again with gold sluices. Hopefully by then, the towers that we currently have will be upgraded to tier 5, and we will have sufficient Temples of Hashut. We're nearly at 100 conclave influence per turn now, which is good. We're not going to rush you, much as I'd like to. Magpie Town, I guess we could upgrade you. Mount Greyhag, kind of in an exposed area. Pig Barter, oh, cheaper upgrade. Actually, not that much cheaper. Haunted Grove is also in the middle of everything right now. Yeah, I'm gonna say we'll do Magpie Town. And we'll save for further upgrades. I'll let the rest be stagnant for until. How are we doing here? So, one more turn and then we'll be able to grab Procurator and make stuff cheaper. Looks like these guys have gotten Conscriptor, which is fine. Huh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Huh, interesting. So Ostrogoth is not doing nearly as well as Zatan is. That's interesting. Like, it's a huge margin, too, because these are more expensive, and Zatan has 3 here, and Ostrogoth has not a 1. I mean, he did steal 2, but I think Zatan also stole 1. Huh. Interesting, interesting. Originally the plan was to maybe grab Ostrogoth first, or force him to serve first, but maybe Zatan at this point holds so many seats that it might behoove us to confederate him first. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because it'll take about probably 2 episodes to get to that point, but we're getting there. 2 episodes is not that long at all. Anyway, I believe we're holding on to the rest of whatever we have because we can't do anything with it. So, skip all of this. Dip low. I want to check if there's more trade agreements coming our way, and not right now, but I'm sure there will be once we're ready to upgrade our economy again. End turn. Alright, you know what I just realized is a potentially odd thing about the about this Death Toll Ogre faction? Have we seen a single camp from them at all, or no? Because I don't think we have. Hey, Hashut Reverence is up and running, +5 conclave influence per turn per Temple of Hashut, meaning we're up to 108 per turn, and it will continue rising every turn. +340 means we will claim the seat of a Procurator here. and then work towards grabbing High Commissioner as fast as possible for the additional control and the raw materials and workload requirement as well. Very nice. Then, to complete this quest for a free tiny bit of cash, we are going to raid this place, like so. And then you will move close. I assume you won't be able to raid as well. But that's alright. No, you will not. But you can go into ambush stance just in case these guys try to attack you. We'll see. Hopefully that doesn't screw the raiding over. Okay, Gromrel tipped drill assembly line is completed, but hasn't changed anything. And while this army is certainly not complete, it is... Oh, we got another unethical guy. I love the unethical. The recruitment cost would have also helped us. Okay, we need capacity. We need capacity, and I guess we have to choose where to build it. There was a place that had a lot of free space. Assuming that we don't bother with building the incinerator here, because we only have the one factory, so it feels like it's probably not worth it. We could build a Sorcerer Prophet's quarters, or we could just go for another iron level, assuming... Oh, wait, actually, I lied. We could build an ash level here, because I was planning to do that anyway. So let's do this, and we can't rush it. But we will build it rather quickly, or shortly. Are you guys just gonna swap positions? I guess you guys just gonna swap positions. Alright, you go this way and you go this way. Like two Chaos Dwarfs. No, okay, come on, man. Why you gotta get on each other's way? Like two Chaos Dwarfs that pass in the night, whatever. Yep. Where did the army go? Oh, for the love of it's going back to pig barter again, eh? Well... let's see how much they care about Gulaktha and whether they'll attack again. Ah, I see their Wa got bigger. Interesting. And does this warrant another upgrade? Frankly, the tier upgrade doesn't actually do anything for the garrison, so we could power up the garrison, in theory. But let's see what else we got going. Aha! Anno decided to run away rather than defend Buglar country. Poor, poor Anno. We will then be able to probably auto-resolve this. It's still a decent stack, but not decent enough. And we will occupy it as a factory. And that's these guys' last army. It was a pretty solid stack with lots of stuff, when combined with a very solid stack in Boglar country. They should have been able to hold on to this. Well, too bad for them. Skaven revealed, enemy killed in battle, another glittering scales. Lovely, great Taurus for middle manager Stormbreaker. And you... wait. I saw attrition. Wait, where's the attrition? Armies will suffer... Oh, swamplands. I wonder if these guys are able to besiege us immediately or whether they have to avoid us. I guess we're gonna find out. Gordas, you have now maxed out the buffs for your army. We're gonna max out replenish troops next and then go for Bloodthirsty Rage all the way through Sneaky. I really wanted that Vanguard deployment for the entire... army. Yeah, I've been missing that. Frankly, it could have been helpful in several of the battles so far. You guys are now good. Drazhoath, please, don't hurt me, has moved. Nabua. These guys are still kind of annoying each other. But not to the degree that it concerns us. I'm wondering whether we should send this guy southward to actually fight a little bit. We could potentially... You know what? I kind of like the idea. We'll... Can we get these guys up and running here now? Okay, we'll just send them their way. It's going to cost us more money, but we'll start moving down this way in case we have to defend against Borg de Pranksta. Then, Overseers. Iron in a dust, not good. I guess we're going to have to spend money to get another Sorcerer Prophet. We do have another Needful. Oh, this guy was why did I get a Thirstful one? I thought I got a Needful one. Huh, that was my bad. It's Needful we need, not Thirstful. Yeah, we'll get you, Needful, in this place, which will make our money negative, but you can defend the place and hopefully Spirit Leech those trolls as needed. And I'm just going to assume that the army is strong enough to defend against these guys. It is. Oh, wait, it isn't, because it's not a walled settlement, is it? No, yes, it is. When outside Wood Elf Ogre or Norscan homeland adds walls to the settlement, but it doesn't have the little, it doesn't have the little walls icon. Wait, do any of our territories? Oh, maybe the little fire. Oh, I guess the fiery icon is the equivalent of the walls icon for the Chaos Dwarfs. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's what it normally looks like, right? Wait, let me just... If we take a look at, I don't know, somebody who definitely has walls. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright, I also gotta not forget that these guys are at war with us and will probably be moving towards us. Anyway, I guess we end the turn and we see what those guys do as soon as we spend those raw materials. Alright, back to towers. Towers and temples. We could spend the 70 to rush this. It's not a lot, and then upgrade the next level of tower at Spice Market. I think we'll do that. Do so like so. And we have a little bit remaining, not quite enough, but next turn we'll most likely be able to build 2, which is lovely. Alright, and economy is still stagnant, but hopefully not for too much longer. We will have to... Okay, we're at -10 here. We can take it for a turn, though, and then deal with it next turn, just to save on the labor a little bit. Drazhoath has unfortunately spent way too many turns moving down here, so it is what it is. I guess we'll be... Well, like I said, it's very likely that we're going to have to fight Malice Darkblades, so... Guess we're gonna do that. Next, we're gonna go for Conclave Dominance for even more Conclave Influence per turn, and then Communing Altar at the cost of Influence, but even more Conclave Influence. It's plus 10%, so we'll get another 11. It'll be worth this expenditure and pay for itself in 10 turns. Probably less, because our Conclave Influence will continue climbing as well. Not gonna bother checking Diplomacy, let's just end the turn, let's see what the Skaven and everybody else does go. Alrighty, hey, looks like our best convoy is getting some more free units. No monsters this time, but we could always use more Hobgob archers, certainly won't say no to it. An eager tribe of half-brained hobgoblins have appeared from seemingly nowhere, intending to offer their services. Hushud only knows where they were hiding. We already read that one. Numbers are superior. We don't need to replenish their forces because that army is pretty good. Raid Treehammer's camp, we're getting some money, and which we needed. Settlement besieged Pig Barter. Alright, so they did indeed besiege. They did it at the cost of their capital, however, as... Ooh, oh, some decent stuff there. Does this place have walls? It does have walls. Interesting. That means our newly not complete, but certainly improved army will be looking pretty okay. We need to besiege this place, eh? Where's the Razor Sack? Alright, fair enough. Double check for any enemy armies, not seeing any nearby. Very wary that these guys have another army out here. And because if they do, they might catch our poor destroyers. Well, it's a risk we're gonna have to take. We are traveling this way, just gotta make sure to click back if we spot an army. Maybe I should be moving you in ambush stance just so that the enemy doesn't know you're here. Certainly potential for it. Anyway, you're going up here because you're gonna generate a new army together with T.A. Asgal, who... Maybe it's time for the talent agent to get some stuff going. So, let us switch you. We want to build this up. What kind of artillery will we use in this army? You know what, just build the Grand Manufactory just so that we can... Okay, this is more armaments, so we need more money right now, so we're going to ignore it. And the rail network as well. Switch you to military doctrine. Then, this place is now negative in public order, so we will put it back up to set an example. Well, not negative in public order, but you know what I mean. Then, we need to upgrade some towers. And then we'll fight. Alright, so you have your tower. You have your tower. You are going to tier 5 right now and don't have your tower. You are going to tier 4 right now. You can start going to tier 4. And then we should be able to build up another one. Not Pig Barter because it's under siege. Scalded Hinterland. No, there's no tower there. Haunted Grove, you're a tower. And we still have a little bit left over. Swamp Eater Camp, let's do you. And I believe that's it. Ooh, yes, we needed more capacity for these guys. So, oh, we needed up to tier 3 to get the capacity. That's a shame, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Deal with it. Gotta get more of those unethicals. And you, are we able to reach you? Yes, we are. Alright, so you're the last fight of this little Skaven faction, and then we will turn towards the lizards, who appear to be sailing away. To where? To fight Clan Ricket. They're the only ones they're at war with, but Clan Ricket is destroyed. Where could they be possible? Where could possible? Huh? Maybe they are looking to declare war on somebody down here. There should be Chaos forces down there. Wait, no, there's lizards in the Dragon Isles. Who's down here? Fungus lands, and all types of chaos. Zine, Schnurgle, Korn, except Slaanesh. Oh, they're astonished, yeah. This is the land of the Plague Lord. Looks like the great game is causing Nurgle some problems. Anyway, to Anno we shall go. After we level up Fervent Fodder, buffing up our army considerably, and frankly, it might make their army so weak that we can auto-resolve it and fight with Drazhoath instead, which frankly I'm sure we'd prefer. Let's get Piercing Bolts of Burning, still a very useful spell as well, and hit this. Hit it, destroy it. Stanashi Giggle. Close victory, medium casualties. Alright, that sounds like we should maybe fight it. It said we'd be suffering attrition in the swamp territory as well, so if the auto-resolve hurts us sufficiently, then... Alright, fine, we'll fight it. We do have to worry about those warp grinders as long as we don't have artillery to take care of them after all, so go. Alrighty, here we go, another Skaven stack, though a fundamentally different type of army than we had previously. They had Plague Claw catapults last time, so we couldn't quite contend with them at range. This time they do not, and thus we very much can annoy them with the range units as much as we want, and in fact it would be dangerous to go immediately into melee or even charge through their lines because of the presence of those two warp grinders. So, the similarity to the other battle is we still have to start off by knocking out those darn death globes, which can be so darn devastating. So they'll be the first of the units that we focus down, though it looks like the enemy is doing a good job sort of screening the units of death globes by sending range units and melee units, including an assassin, chasing us around. Our units of sneaky gits are approaching on the left flank, counter to the units of the wolf raiders, and are annoying enemies by chucking daggers at them, especially against the plague monks, which are a solid unit and will fight to the last, so we gotta make sure that we bring them down to the last that little bit quicker. There we go, gotta love that dagger spam on these guys, and I'm just wondering, does anybody know this? Does ammunition bonuses, if you apply ammunition bonuses to an army, does it apply to precursor weapons, or does it only count? I mean, it does say ammunition, but does it usually apply to precursor weapons or only non-precursor weapons, like regular range ammunition? And because if it does apply to precursor stuff, I'm wondering the degree to which we might be able to stack ammunition buffs in a single army to get massive amounts of dagger throwing available to a pile of sneaky gits. Because as we've seen, the daggers are, well, they only get like 2 or 3 volleys out of them, but those volleys hit really hard, just like a javelin unit in... just like a historical javelin unit. Anyway, we have summoned the Kadai at last, right on top of those warp grinders. Always got to summon these on the warp grinders so that they can't get those warp quakes off. Our range units are rushing around and charging the enemy while blobbing them up. Then we back the range units up and hit the enemy with a nice band ability. There we go. That looked pretty devastating to whatever units it hits, and oh wow, tore like 90% of the 90% of the Skaven in half. Too bad for them, I suppose. Otherwise, the bounce power is shifted in our favor quite a bit. We're at about 85% now. The battle lines are engaged. Hobgob cutthroats holding back the tide of clan rats and Skaven slaves with much greater ease than they did the storm vermin and the previous battle that these guys fought. It does look like one of the warp grinders did manage to make their way forward, but will rout relatively quickly under focus fire, and the battle will turn fully in our favor as the enemy loses their last option to get good damage out, and the battle is ours. A lovely job, and I do believe this faction is done for, isn't it? Sorry, Skaven. Alright, very nice. Poor Gordas did get hurt again, however. He is just so fragile. We really need to find something that can heal him without using that particular slot that the healing potion usually takes. As for the damage, the Mange Rovers do 19k and solid amounts of kills, and 217 kills on Drazhoath's hangnails, as well as solid work by the Boblin Knifers with 179 and 13k. So lovely. I know, ration gobblers, well, I guess they ate all the food, and so they are generally stronger than the other goblin archers. Otherwise, we will take the labor because we need it. And we need money, but, you know, we need everything. And there we go, Clan Ricket has been destroyed, but, hey, free armor of the forge. Nice, we'll take it. Ricket may have been destroyed, but the work continues. So you are going to start moving towards the Scalded Swamp and presumably immediately war with the lizards. We can't leave them here now that they're at war with nobody. Most likely they'll declare war on us shortly, if not immediately. Gotta watch out for Malice, who dislikes us more and more. I don't remember how many turns are left until he can declare war on us, but I'd wager it's not all that many. You two. I would like you two to attack this place. It's basically all your movement, but I guess you'll still need to move there together, so it doesn't really change anything. Go to Treehammer's camp right there. Pyrrhic victory, really? Again? And these guys can't heal up as much as Gordas can. Oh, now slow. I guess once we have the giant pile kill, let's see how much damage this does to us. Not that bad, it's just, I mean, granted, literally a third of our army died. Actually, more than a third of our army died, but it was mostly laborers that did, so that hardly matters. And I forgot, were we doing factories here as well? What did we do here? Yes, factories. This place has timber, so yes, factories. Nice, and we don't need you, but we do need the timber immediately. Ah, we can't get it up and running immediately. That's a shame, but all good. And we'll get you to tier 3 as soon as we start kicking off our economy stuff again. You guys move here and then move on to Lamian Ruins. One settlement remaining. They are rebuilding their army, and I believe they had another army that they ran away to out here. And who do we have down here? Itza tribe. They have the entirety of the Dragon Isles, but I still see that they have the ports, and I'm hoping that we still get the unique port at Sea Dragon's Teeth. Was it the Sea Dragon's Teeth, the unique port? And oh wow, what the heck is this? That's a very cool looking lizard bridge across into the Chaos Wastes over into space. And I don't know how that works. Some kind of portal into the Chaos Bridge, perhaps? Very interesting. And the Path of the Old Ones. Oh, you have to take the Path of the Old Ones there to... Huh? To the other bridge, but then how do you get into the Chaos Wastes? Are we able to go in here? What if we use Underway? I don't think you can Underway into the Chaos Wastes, can you? What is this? Cross the Bridge of Fools. This portal can be entered by any lord. Travel between the Bridge of Fools and the Shattered Causeway. Huh. So maybe we can't? I don't know. If anybody knows, I assume that some of you guys have played this map before. Please let me know. I would be interested to know how do we get down there. Hello, Skull Island. I would love to send an army down here. Gordas, I think we will have you kill the Itza tribe and grab that Skull Island. Hopefully nobody else does. Is there anything here? This isn't a territory. Wait. Chaos Corruption, so this is a territory. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, these are different locations. So you're telling me we can actually go here and have these oil rigs occupied? That's crazy if that is indeed the case. Anything else that we need to do? Yeah, wait, I want to check capacity again. And we do have another bully available. Did I move these guys this particular turn? I did indeed. Did I move you this turn? I did not. Alright, so you should in theory keep going this way. We'll see if these guys continue sieging or whether they will attack, but I guess we won't see that until next turn, which we presumably won't see until next episode, because we're very near to out of time. We will, however, attack Gulaktha, which is a Pyrrhic victory, but I think we'll see about that one. Let's give the Razor Standard to, let's say, the Nova Corps Elites, and I guess just jump on in and go for it. Alrighty, there we go. This episode has certainly gone a little long and all that, but, well, this is the first of Drazhoath's fights in this particular episode, and we just had to try out his new and improved army. Not quite complete, but nearly there. Infernal IRONSWORN, they're in numbers with those fantastic-looking helmets and axes of theirs, led by 2 Castellans as well, with their right not to wear the helmet, and, of course, the Fireglaves, they're in numbers to add their range support as well, and Kadai now with 4 of them. We still have the Magma Cannons. They will probably not be sticking around in this army for a number of reasons, but, well, we can enjoy them while we have them. Anyway, we're going straight for the breach with our heavily armored units, 125 armor on these guys, which is, and 110, which is pretty solid. And we could bump those numbers up even higher with a Overseer in theory, but I think that will be just fine against Orc units, even with all the armor piercing offered by the Biggins and the Black Orcs that are in this particular army. Anyway, Drazhoath has moved in and has begun to irritate the enemy with his spell work, as he tends to do. Gotta do something while the rest of our army arrived, and this is a Chaos Dwarf territory after all, a Chaos Dwarf settlement, or rather, and we can't be having these rebellious orcs hold on to it. I like to think it is a rebellion that has taken one of these guys, and with a monument to Hashut looking down below, the Chaos Dwarfs absolutely have to perform. Anyway, we will summon the first unit of Kadai Fireborn just to clear the breach or allow our units to enter without the enemy blocking them too much. Does look like the enemy is wise to the idea, though, as they do charge their boar boys, ignoring our units of Kadai Fireborn, and the enemy lord will lead them. Gonna drop a few of our abilities on the enemy just to get them on cooldown, especially Flame and Shadow, because we have 2 uses. It's not gonna do a crazy amount of damage, especially to the Black Orcs, but that's alright, we just gotta get them on cooldown anyway. And anyway, I'm sure we'd much rather hack through the enemy here. And beautiful, this is absolutely what we've wanted. The Kadai Fireborn fighting together with the IRONSWORN, all that fire damage all over the place. We now fight under the Ash Storm as well to increase the fire damage further. And I'm sure all the enemies have plenty of fire weakness and other debuffs going on them now. And more Kadai are streaming in. But of course, this isn't the entire story. We have sent in 4 units out here. 2 units of Fireglaves and 2 units of the Infernal IRONSWORN, while the other 2 are going up the walls instead to set up a nice firing line and fire down at the enemy below. Not like they're going to be particularly scared of the relatively non-armor piercing arrows of the Orc Air Boys, Orc and Goblin Air Boys, I should say, though the Orc Air Boys, of course, have more armor piercing, stronger draw strength and all than the Gobos. Anyway, the fight continues, so right in the middle of all this. Big old Burning Wrath drop from Drazhoath, who's also in the center, though he does now have a tendency to take a little bit more damage since he doesn't have that self-healing hunger ability, which he traded for the quest item. I'll think about it. I do like the ability that it essentially allows him to be a one-man army to a degree that his own unique items don't. Kind of a ludicrously powerful item. 15 ward save and the hunger on a casting item, leaving plenty of room for other items, and not really fighting for slots. Fantastic. I assume that Astragoth has a casting item, as a unique casting item, does he not? I'll have to double check. See who needs it more, though Drazhoath is a bigger target than Astragoth is. But anyway, another Ash Storm comes down. This is definitely the spell that we spam the most after the Burning Wrath and after the Flames of Azgorh. But even with the reductions in terms of cost for Flames of Azgorh on Drazhoath, it's still a very, very expensive spell. Anyway, we are still fighting through the breach here, but the walls are starting to fill up with units, and soon we'll be able to come on down. Getting a little bit of that fire going already at some units that were hanging around up there. Too bad for them. And obviously, as soon as all the units have stopped climbing up the ladders, we will head our way down. Kadai are here in numbers. Don't have those destroyers as yet, but we'll be having them here in this army in short order. And another nice thing about the way this army has now changed is because all of our units glow now. So even in really dark battles, this is sort of a medium dark battle, I guess. In really dark battles, like when we fought the undead and stuff, we'll still be able to see our entire army. Which I just really like. Anyway, time to head off those walls. It's the Fireglaves are having a little bit of a difficult time firing at the enemy because they're directly below the walls, rather than being far enough away. But that's alright, we can fire from down below instead. Line up again and start taking volleys into those units of Orc Error Boys. Would have been nice if you had started firing on cue, but come on now. Alright, come on now, guys, please. Please fire. Are they still moving? They might still be moving. Okay, there they are, of course. I just wanted to listen to the sound. Alright, there we go. And the others are firing into the Ash Storm, firing in both directions, which I'm sure they can appreciate. The Fireglaves won't do as much damage to infantry units as Blunderbuss would, but they have a lot more range, and they will obliterate targets at range a lot better because, well, they can fire twice as far. Plus, they got that armor piercing on them, and as we've seen, they will rip apart things like trolls and monstrous infantry much faster than blunderbusses. In part probably due to their high accuracy. Alright, a couple of blasting charges being thrown by these guys, though they do still have a few more left and are looking to get rid of them as best they can. We've also now moved away the Kadai, who are going to use their speed, which our Chaos Dwarf Warriors or our Infernal Ironsworn don't have, to start moving up this thoroughfare and, well, catching any units of range or melee. I don't think the Kadai care that they can find. And it's a horrible battlefield to be upon for those poor Arrow boys. They'll get burned and cut apart as well. And it looks like we've completely cleared the breach now, the Infernal Ironsworn having taken a little bit of damage, but no losses so far due to their high defensive stats. Are going to go with both Infernal Castlings up this way, as this is where the rest of the enemy army here is concentrated, and a few extra units. And one of the enemy airboys has been cleared at range by the 2 units of Fireglaves firing at it. I guess it was 1 and now it's 2. And getting a little bit of help from those blasting charges as well, and now it looks like this unit will be pretty much destroyed. There we go. Other unit of Fireglaves is climbing on top of the walls, and there we go, now getting a few shots at some of the enemy squigs who have decided they want to move away and not deal with any of that. Lovely. Alright, and Drazhoath is flying around annoying enemy with spells. We still gotta drop that barricade, but I'm sure that'll work. A unit of Biggins stands against our units of Kadai, and though even with their armor piercing, they don't have much of a chance, as the Kadai will do too much damage. And of course, it's, I think, 3 units against 1. The 4th Kadai unit is one that took a little bit of damage and has moved to capture one of the key victory positions. Orcs sound a little bit subdued, perhaps not yelling as much as you might expect. Fighting nearly silently, but, well, perhaps they've lost all hope. And there we go, they are broken. That might have also contributed to that. Anyway, with the Kadai having broken those guys, they should be able to get around and help out our Infernal Ironsworn even after they've made it through the barricade. They're just trying to hack their way through it. There we go. And Drazhoath was helping from the other side as well. And we'll charge on in together with Cinder Breath, who also glows with those glowing wings. It's also really nice to see how the Chaos Dwarfs match their own sort of lighting and their own settlements and stuff. I love all the color coordination and all that. And there we go, fighting in the dark, but the axes and the helmets are glow still, and it looks like the enemy don't want to fight with the Infernal Ironsworn here, and instead are just backing off. What do we have here? Hey, a unit of trolls attempts to move towards our fire glaives, but it looks like they think better of it, and will in fact attempt to escape. And with the anti-large on the fire glaives, even if these guys were able to get close enough to the fire glaives, they would have been torn apart instead. And of course the fire glaives are going to also be better against the sort of later game units that we're likely to see, like the more heavily armored stuff. I'd be interested to see how they do in a shootout against something like a unit of a Celestial Dragon Guard with crossbows. We'll probably send an army up north to deal with Cathay, because it looks like they're not liking us very much, but we'll see. Anyway, our magma cannons are in the settlement now, bringing down a supporting enemy tower, because, well, frankly, they don't have a lot to do here, at least not right now. And by the looks of it, the battle is just about ours. Oh, looks like a unit of Orc Biggins is moved in to fight the Infernal Ironsworn. Gonna take a little bit of time because the Infernal Ironsworn are still a more or less a defensive unit, but that just means the enemy will essentially break themselves, attempting to break through them. Our attack is still relatively low at only 14.9, but we'll pump those numbers up. Gonna definitely try to get a Chaos War Shrine. I don't know if we'll be able to get one in this particular army, but if we can make room for it, we might. Or really anything that will buff our melee attack a little bit more. Alright, tactically there isn't really much else to say about this particular battle. It's just going to be a couple of little skirmishes that remain. And we just have to slowly but surely hack our way through. And of course we do have the Kadai to do damage, but I decided to separate everybody in this particular army. The Firesworn, or Ironsworn rather, the Ironsworn, the Kadai, although Firesworn might make a good name. The Kadai and the Fire Glaives separated so that they all have a chance to shine on their own, rather than working together like they normally would in a field battle. And speaking of the Fire Glaives, looks like a unit of the Squiggies attempts to charge towards them. We'll take a volley, and that volley will force them into a rampage. Poor little Squiggies. They will close the distance by the looks of it, dropping as they charge on in, but will only smash into those anti-large fire glaives instead, rapidly losing their HP. And they're shaken, and a couple more hits, and I'm sure they'll be out of the picture. And of course, range units aren't as damaging in SFO as, I mean, obviously the meta's always been range, especially against the AI, but and that hasn't really changed in SFO, but because SFO does longer battles, the range units don't do as much damage, so they don't have that withering volley that instantly deletes a unit that they do, but I really appreciate that because it makes battles longer and they make them feel more appropriate. Anyway, Squig Herd is out, and I think that was the last unit in its rampage that was still willing to fight. The units on the right flank of the Infernal Ironsworn were completely refusing to get into combat with the Ironsworn, other than that one brave Biggins unit, which were cut down. Alright, a very nice fight with extremely minimal losses, despite the fact that we were engaged for a fair bit of time. I see there was a massive disparity in terms of damage, with the Nova Corps elites doing a lot more. I wonder if it's because the Razor Standard gives them more armor-piercing damage. I gotta compare what the regular type of damage is. As for the range units, with the exception of Stonebeard sharpshooters, who unfortunately were busy, sort of guarding other units, at 23k the Fire Marshals took home the prize, and for the Kadai at 24k, the Ashbringers lived up to their name. No kills on the Magma Cannons, but they were going after towers, so that makes sense. Plenty of damage and kills on Drazhoath, of course, 445 kills and 93k damage. Solid work from him. New tower. And every tower means more conclave influence, and more conclave influence means more conclave influence as we get more seats. Lovely, lovely. Now I imagine that these guys will attack us here at Pig Barter, so I don't think we have time to end the turn. And oh wow, we are out of time. Okay, we are super out of time, and I'm gonna call the episode here. Time flies when you're having fun and all of that. So yeah, next time we will wipe out the death toll. We will turn towards the Tepok spawn as the start of our war against the lizards, and we'll then possibly next episode move towards Itzitza. Since Drazh is coming down here, we will wipe out the Red Cloud before probably turning on Malice Darkblade and just wiping him out, as it doesn't seem he's looking like he's going to be friendly with us because his friends attacked us first, and because of that he'll attack us next most likely. We should also be able to complete the sort of Chaos Warrior and Iron Demon army. Just got to get one more Iron Demon and a couple more Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. The units of Destroyers will join Drazhoath to complete his army for now, though there will be some changes once we get a couple other things, and we'll be looking to complete the Infernal Guard army as well with whatever artillery or whatever we decide to put in here. I did want to make a box army, but that'll be our Hell Cannon army, guarding the Hell Cannons, so, and this one will be a little bit different from that, so we'll figure that one out. And oh, if all that, of course, if we can get enough money, but we also need more Skullcrackers for Kuntish, and we need lots of render, well, maybe not lots, but decent amount of renders for Vrongni the Grey here. Anyway, more Chaos Dwarfs to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.